Happy All-Star break, everybody. Welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. It is Harrison Graham and Jeffrey Cooperstein here. And on today's show, we're going to explore some updated buyout targets. A few players have found homes, like Danilo Gallinari signed with the Bucks. A couple other guys have landed. Obviously, Spencer Dinwiddie in L.A. as well. So
Crazy.
Coop and I will kind of dive into some of these guys and ultimately decide if any of these players are worth it or not. So let's dive into it here. Cory Joseph is our number 5 guy here, and pretty solid career as a backup point guard. He's certainly closer to the end than he was the beginning. And Coop, you and I have kind of agreed that adding another point guard could make some sense to get another ball handler in here. He plays some good defense, so maybe he's an option for Dallas. I don't think he'd be in the rotation, but he could be a guy, you know, if Jaden Hardy's out, you're not afraid to play him 10 minutes or something like that. So maybe he's an option.
Yeah, point guard would be the position that I would target if I were the Mavericks. The only problem is there aren't very many point guards available on the market. Like Cory Joseph and Killian Hayes are probably the best one, and we'll talk about Hayes later. But Joseph, as far as his veteran presence, he's played in the playoffs before, and I don't think he would mind just being the 15th guy on the bench that doesn't have to play every night, but on a night where either Luka misses a game, Kyrie misses a game, they're in garbage time. Cory Joseph can step in and he can run the show for 10 minutes, and there's no problem with that. And when you're talking about the 15th guy on the roster, that's more of the kind of guy you're looking for.
Yeah, so he could be an interesting veteran presence to add. What do you guys think? Does Cory Joseph still have gas in the tank? Type Y for yes and for no. I will say this. I do think it's notable, Coop, that the Warriors were kind of just like, we're just going to let you go.
And the Warriors don't do that if you're a good player. So maybe it just he didn't fit there. It didn't work out. But we'll see. I have some intrigue there. I really do.
Number 4, Victor Oladipo. If Oladipo could give you some point minutes, I would be a lot more interested here because – look, injuries have certainly derailed his career.
Hasn't played this season yet.
He's kind of a cooked product. I will say this, though. There's been a couple of times he's been considered cooked, and then he's not, right? Like,
I guess,
the Heat a couple of playoff runs ago, like, benched Duncan Robinson for him, and he was, like, pretty damn good for that stretch. Now, last year he was hurt again, and Duncan kind of had that resurgence. This year he hasn't played, so he could actually be cooked this time, but I don't think he's a great fit because he doesn't defend. He can't really play point guard, so I'm not really sure this is the right fit considering the Mavs have been jam-loaded at the 2 spot all year anyway.
And I haven't really seen what his injury status is. I don't know if he's projected to miss the entire season. I know at one point there was a thought that he could come back in April and maybe help out a playoff team. Yeah. If he's available, I mean, why not, I guess, because you have that open roster spot, but he doesn't really move the needle as far as just actually making the Mavericks rotation and making an impact in Dallas.
Yeah, it's more of the position he plays, just like even if a guy's out, he's still probably not playing. Like,
exactly.
There's just too many guys there. So I would probably pass on Oladipo. Something I'm never passing on is Prize Picks. I mean, I'm playing this thing on a daily basis, making some money. It's a lot of fun. You can too. Daily fantasy made easy with Prize Picks at prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. And I know a lot of you guys are like, it's the All-Star break. What am I going to do with Prize Picks? Well, there are other sports going on. But 2, you can also do second half projections. Coop, take us through these for the second half of the Mavericks.
This is nasty work by me that I cooked up. We have more than 7.5 30-plus point games for Kyrie Irving in the final 27 games.
You're expecting him to stay healthy.
I expect him to stay healthy, and he's been playing fantastic for this Mavs team. So I'm going to take the more. I'm also going to take the more on 40-plus point games at 4.5 for our guy, Luka Doncic. Okay. I think he can do it. He's already, I believe, at 10 40-point games this year. So what's 5 more? And then more than 5.5 triple-doubles for the remainder of the season for Luka. He's close to a triple-double every single night. So
that one I feel like is the most likely.
I would agree with that, but you can pick up to 6 of these, and you can make a lot of money if you get them all right. So go check out Prize Picks. Promo code CLNS, prizepicks.com/CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100.
Yeah, you can win up to 25 times your money on a 6-player entry. With this one, a 5 times your money, 10 to win 50. Go check it out today. It is Prize Picks. Okay, yes, the worst player to ever request multiple trades. Frankie Corkz, who got moved at the deadline and then waived by whoever it was bought out. most recently with the Sixers. Can stretch the floor. He can shoot the three ball a little bit, but
that's really it.
Yeah, he's not going to defend much. He
seems
to have strong opinions for a guy who's not that good.
He is more known for, I believe, being the worst player to ever request a trade than he is for actually being on the court. Korkmaz doesn't really do anything for me. He's kind of like Oladipo, where he's a 2/3. He can shoot it a little bit, but does he bring anything that the Mavericks don't already have? I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not that interested in his services, but we'll see.
Korkmaz doesn't move the needle for you?
No, he doesn't. I'd rather have Victor, and that says a lot. So I'm going to go pass on Frankie Corkz on this one. By the way, I don't know if he's on here because you cooked this up real quick without me. Our good pal Frank Ntilikina, I think, got bought out.
He is not on here, but I believe, yeah.
I wouldn't mind it.
I don't hate Ntilikina. I don't hate Frankie Smokes back.
He could play a little point. Just throwing that out there, a little bonus for you guys, which is why you should subscribe to Mavericks Today. If the Mavs sign someone, we got you. We know Frankie can play some defense. He can handle the rock a little bit.
That's a miss on me.
I actually wouldn't mind that one, Coop. He might be near the top of the list for me.
We might have to adjust the thumbnail of this later.
Hit that subscribe button, and we got you covered. Killian Hayes, hear me out. He's not going to help you this year. I think that's completely obvious. But I would not mind bringing him into the building and just sitting behind a Luka and Kyrie. Maybe he can become something in the future. Now, again, if you're trying to add someone that helps you this year, out of everyone on this list, he might actually help you the least. But the guy was a top 10 pick not that long ago. It's not like he's talentless. So I agree with you, your note here, that for his career, it's probably better if he signs somewhere where he can actually get some minutes.
Yes.
But I would not completely dismiss this. Like, if you want a developmental young player that still has talent, I don't mind that taking up the 15th spot on your roster.
I don't either, yeah. I think for his sake, he should probably sign somewhere else. But for the future, I would really like the signing because he has some size, he has some point guard ability. And if you add him and kind of make him a long-term backup behind Luka and Kyrie, I don't hate that at all. I just think he's going to try to find a spot where he can maybe even start and get 30 minutes a night here for the remainder of the season before he goes and finds his next destination. So yeah. I don't know if Dallas is a home for him.
How about Daniel House, who good playoff player? He was on a lot of those Rockets, Daryl Morey teams. He was with Morey and those boys in Philly as well. Certainly probably not the impact he had, 4 or 5 years ago, but guy who can defend on the perimeter. We know he can shoot the three ball as well. He's kind of a gritty player, which I like. He plays with a little bit of an edge to him on the defensive end. I agree. This would be the one guy that I don't think he'd be squarely in the rotation, but it wouldn't shock me if you were to trust him over an Omax or something like that.
Yeah, 29 playoff games played in his career. He's played in a bunch of them, and he's done pretty well as well. So he's a guy that's been on a lot of winning teams. He was on the Sixers. He was on the Rockets when they were pretty good as well.
What was that series? Dude, he won a game for the Rockets in the playoffs one time.
He played for the Jazz against the Mavericks in that series in 22 as well. So he has some playoff experience. And he has some size, and he can give you some defense as well. So I kind of like that idea of Daniel House, but I'm not sure if the Mavericks really need that because they have their 2s and 3s and P.J. Washington and Omax and Josh Green and whoever else.
And Coop making this graphic on the fly.
Had to.
Frankie Smokes has done nothing this year, so let's be clear. And I think the Mavs let him go for a reason. But again, familiar with the organization, with the system, we know he's a good defender. He can handle the rock if absolutely needed. So I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind bringing him back as your 15th man. You could certainly do a lot worse.
I'm kind of in on Frankie Smokes, man. I mean, especially with the familiarity with the system, and he's able to run the system pretty seamlessly as well. So I think that he could be good. And I know, especially when he was in Dallas, that was the best shooting he's ever done in his career.
First year he was here, in particular, he was pretty good.
They turned him into a legit starter, so I thought that Ntilikina was pretty solid. And when the Mavs lost him, I was kind of disappointed, actually, because I thought he was a good player for the value, but obviously went on to greener pastures, and Charlotte is obviously awful this year. Hardly plays. His NBA career might be coming to an end, but maybe with the contending team, he could help somebody out. The whole theme of this, Harrison, is that there's not many players available.
Yeah, it's dried out pretty quick, We were hoping for Dinwiddie. He was the one guy that I felt like would have a notable role, like in the buyout market.
No doubt.
And it's a bummer he signed with LA, but he did. And, there's also, we've talked about this, and I think it's kind of a thought that's probably matriculating, if you will, to the
I like that
Mavericks
word.
Sport organization, is that A.J. Lawson might just get a promotion. He's got, just over a dozen games left of eligibility on the two-way deal, and if you want him as a playoff option, you would have to get him onto your active roster. So that could be an option. I think they'll kind of scour the next couple of weeks and see how it goes. But worst-case scenario, you promote Lawson, go find another G League developmental guy, put him on a two-way deal, and kind of just roll with that.
Yeah, keep an eye on around the first week of March because you have to be waived by March 1st and be a free agent in order to be eligible for the playoffs. So keep an eye on around that date. Maybe the Mavs make a move then with A.J. Lawson. Lawson has around 13-ish games available still on his two-way for him to be active for the Mavericks. So that puts you right around March 15th, I believe. So maybe the Mavs will make a move right around then. We'll have to wait and see.
So what do you guys think? Will A.J. Lawson or someone else get that last spot? Type A.J. for A.J. Lawson, type O for other. They also could just leave a spot open in case, something happens late in the year and they have to sign somebody.
Yeah, you could leave that 14th spot open. You have to have a minimum of 14, so they can't cut anyone else, which they won't. But yeah, they could leave it open.
A.J. for A.J. Lawson, O for other. Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. We will be back soon with another episode of Mavericks Today. Should be a fun All-Star weekend. Why am I blanking? Where's the All-Star?
Indianapolis. Derek Lively going to play tonight in the Rising Stars game. You have Luka in the All-Star game on Sunday, so it should be a fun weekend.
Big couple of weeks for Indy. You got that. You got the NFL Combine coming up. So there you go.
Ought to be fun.
If anyone's going, let us know in the chat, and we'll see you soon.